It's the Horn at Super Bowl 57 Radio Row here in Phoenix. Stu Myrick anchoring the coverage from Radio Row. It is Wednesday. It's popping. It's happening. All sorts of luminaries, dignitaries, celebrities. That includes my guest this time, former three-time Pro Bowl linebacker, one of the best to play that position. Played for the Chargers, played for the Bills. I might have to ask you a little bit about the Bills. Shawne Merriman, and now he's with MMA.
Yeah.
You got an MMA promotion. Talk about it.
I do. Lights Out Extreme Fighting now on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. We just had a huge fight January 14th in Riverside, California, and we moved into the top 10 most watched on Fubo Sports ever. So that was pretty cool for us. Got a big fight coming up in April in Los Angeles. But I've been looking at Texas a lot, man. I'm looking at some spots in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Would love to bring a fight down to San Antonio and Dallas. But Texas is definitely a hotbed for a lot of MMA fighters and a lot of fight fans as well.
It is. And MMA has grown so much over the last several years, with UFC and all the different Bellator, and then a lot of the different, you look at things like Extreme Knockout. You look at Fury Fighting and some of the different ones. What were the challenges of creating your own MMA promotion?
Well, I think it's for one, being a former athlete, I think that helped me out a lot, right? And selfishly, I get a chance to train with a lot of these guys. That's why I stay in shape and stay disciplined. But I think that it's really just a promotion, and obviously being on Fubo Sports helped out a lot, Fubo TV, because these upcoming fighters are looking for opportunity to fight and have a chance to showcase their talent. Because believe it or not, there's not a lot of quality production, quality promotions out there that's giving these guys a legitimate shot to go out and showcase their talent. So I've been around the sport for 17 years, even though I was just training during the offseason, launching Lights Out Extreme Fight in 2018. So we're just looking to give these shots, and some former athletes that are transitioning over from football and rugby, and some baseball players are now looking at MMA to transition into Lights Out Extreme Fighting.
Well, and that was kind of my next thing, because so I'm a pro wrestling guy. So I know you spent time with the Performance Center in the WWE Performance Center.
Yeah.
Attracting fighters to your league, and you're talking about athletes, whether baseball, football, whatever, to try to transition MMA. The training is there. I can see that, some of the conditioning, but there is a different conditioning to get into a cage and use those skills in a fight.
Yeah, no question about it. I remember my first day going out and training. It was with Randy Couture. My very first day learning anything with MMA was with Randy Couture. And then the next day I started training, and I got taken down by 185-pound NCAA wrestler. And I could not figure out why the hell I couldn't get up. He was so skilled. He was a champion. And then that just made me want to learn more, because I wanted to get better with jiu-jitsu. I wanted to get better with the sport. But it's definitely different. But there's some similarities too. Football players are some of the most disciplined people on the planet. With learning how to go to practice and be on time and be able to overcome a certain obstacle. So there's a lot of great transitioning facts there.
Okay, and that makes sense. Is doing the. You now have clearance with Fubo TV, and there is so much MMA content out there now. UFC, it seems like every 3 weeks they've got a card on ESPN Plus or whatever, and it feels like a lot of fighters might get kind of lost in the shuffle. They're kind of muddled in there. What is it about Lights Out Extreme that's going to kind of set itself apart from other MMA leagues?
Yeah, we have a huge amateur card even on the next fight. We have not only pros, but we also have amateur. And my ability to kind of reach a different platform, because my platform is really built in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I'm here. And so we're almost at a different promotion of media as well. So we love the MMA media. We love having that, the MMA junkies of the world and MMA news and all that stuff. We love that. But being able to be here at the Super Bowl talking about MMA, I mean, that for me personally, I'm having the best time even being here, because there's very few people who can come on Radio Row here and talk to you guys on the biggest platform, which is the NFL in this country, but also get a chance to talk about Lights Out Extreme Fighting.
Okay, all right. How do folks find out more about Lights
Yep. If you check us out on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. If you don't have Fubo, get it. We got some big announcements coming, and it's going to be exclusively on Fubo. Also, check us out at lightsoutxf.com.
Okay, awesome. Let's talk about Super Bowl 57. We keep hearing Eagles-Chiefs. This is going to be a battle in the trenches,
Yep.
the lines. And we saw when, the last time Kansas City was in the Super Bowl a couple years ago against Tampa Bay, that seemed prevalent because it seemed like Patrick Mahomes was running for his life the entire game. And that's why Tampa Bay, not to mention, some guy named Brady playing quarterback.
Yeah.
But that seemed to be kind of the key as to how Tampa got that win. Give me your assessment, give me your thoughts on this game, and maybe a key or two for each team.
I went against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs last week, and I did it strictly based off of what I thought that Patrick Mahomes' health was. Yeah. I've had that ankle before, and I remember it was a mild high ankle sprain, and I was walking around in the booth about a week and a half, and I could not run on it to 2 weeks in. That's a 2 to 4 week deal, no matter how you look at it. And so what he did last week was nothing short of a miracle. Even at the end of the game, we had to ice the game and finish the game off by using his legs and running. I'm going to make that same mistake again this week and go with the Philadelphia Eagles. When you're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, there's not a weak link, a weak spot on that team. You just talked about the defensive line. There hasn't been a defensive line this stacked in a decade. Because your second string guys that's coming off of the bench are also all pros and Pro Bowlers. I mean, that just doesn't happen. So, you always look for a breather if you want to go out first and second down and get your best pass rushing on third down. They don't have to do that. Mm-hmm. They can just rotate in any time that a guy needs a break, and you're fresh going against an offensive lineman that may be tired and beat down a little bit. So I don't see them. Also, the wide receiver matchups with Kansas City and the Philadelphia Eagles cornerbacks. No shot at Eli Apple. He's a great supervillain of the NFL, but they're not going to be able to do that against Darius Slay.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen. They don't have a weak link on that other side, so they got an uphill battle this week.
Yeah. It's going to be a great game. We know.
Yes.
I think, and the betting lines can show. I think the last I saw it was Philly minus 1.5, which,
right.
That tells you this thing's close.
Yeah.
And I got a feeling this thing's going to be close, and it's probably going to be whoever has the ball last, and who makes the fewer mistakes. I mean, that's usually there. So I get you. He is Shawne Merriman, 3-time Pro Bowler, one of the best to ever play linebacker. Lights out extreme fighting. Catch it on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. Shawne, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it for having me. Absolutely. I can't wait to get a fight out there in Texas.
Absolutely.